Duel Review is brought to you by NexusDigitalComics.com. On this week's Duel Review, we talk about the comic 2099 and Shinobi.
Then we do Basilisk and Hunter, The Reckoning for Xbox.
I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Let's get to it. All right, welcome to another episode of Duel Review. Today we're going to be talking about the comic 2099, the Marvel comic set in the far future, an alternate Earth. And Nick, tell us a little bit about 2099.
Okay, 2099 is actually, it's Marvel Knights 2099, and that's not to confuse the other 2099s out there. And this is, this takes place on Earth 2992, because there's so many Earths. And basically there's 5 titles, all of them are single offshoots and
right, single books.
Right, and they're good as far as contemptual comics go. It's like I get what they were trying to do there, but you really need an entire series to kind of pull out that thing, you know, the premise of it.
That's my biggest complaint, is that I wish there was more, because they kind of just give you a tidbit, like, ooh, this is a story that we could do.
Yeah, but they don't.
But they don't. But still, it's interesting. It's worth a read.
Right.
So why did you want to read this and do a review on this?
Well, mostly for Daredevil 2099. I read that comic, and I really wish they delved deeper in there, because basically it's a story about an ancestor of the Fisks, and if you know, Fisk is the Kingpin.
Right.
Who takes the role as Daredevil, because he feels that, you know, he's conflicted by all the bad that his family has done, and he wants to make that right, and
he feels obligated to make up for the mistakes of the past, and you know, he's like, no better way than to take on the moniker of the greatest enemy
that the Kingpin had, or the greatest hero that the Kingpin faced, or however it wants to be.
However that works.
Yeah. Well, I can't say that because it'll give it away, the ending, but yeah, it's got an interesting twist in there.
Yeah, it's it's interesting to see the family of the greatest bad guy in history or whatever try to be a hero,
right?
But it doesn't end quite as simply as that,
right? And that's what I like. I also like the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, really, that's the appeal of this this issue is that revelation. So we can't spoil it for you.
You can't. But I also like that, you know, as he is a member of the Kingpin family, he's got all the money, and so he builds himself the suit.
Oh,
which I liked. It was what Batman could have done, I guess.
To compensate for the extra sensory ability that
Matt Murdock had.
That he does it through equipment, and so he can jump extra high because he's got extra power built into his legs,
right?
And, protective armor and that sort of thing. Oh, and I thought it was really funny how he tried to use Daredevil's weapon.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "Why do I try that?
Yeah,
it just doesn't work." And so he pulls out some guns. So that's a little different, but I honestly never cared too much for the Daredevil character. I just thought it was too hard to believe for me that blind guy can...
What I didn't like was that they made a blind guy with the capabilities to see,
right?
Extra sensory,
right? And, he can like echolocate without doing noises. I don't understand how that works, but yeah, exactly. If he was like literal Batman, he'd be like. Something like that, but anyway, it is a compelling book. I want to talk about more in the series too.
Okay. I liked Mutant 2099, which plays the role of this pretty much in a world that's mutants are outcasts. They're hunted down, like if what happened in the X-Men comics like came to fruition, right? Yeah. So there's this one mutant, and he's running around and he's trying to be a hero while being chased by the government and all this other things. And he's actually working with
Reed Richards.
Well, I didn't want to say that because I didn't know it was Reed Richards, because he starts off in the Thing costume.
Oh, well, I totally knew that. Well, I mean, well, I guess not until but that's like the second page or something.
Oh, right, all right. Yeah, so he's working. So he's working with Reed Richards, and I just thought that little dynamic was pretty interesting. I thought mostly the concept of Reed Richards in the state that he's in was interesting, and
Right.
how he builds himself the powers of the thing, and the Human Torch, and I think did he do the Invisible Woman?
I don't recall that, but I mean, he's the only survivor, and
Right.
you'll see how he survives. But I mean, it's so far in the future. Of course, most of those people that we have come to know in the normal Marvel universe or our Marvel universe are all
Gone.
Yeah, they all died off, and that's very compelling in itself.
I'm a little curious how the thing died out.
Well, what do you mean? I think he's just as mortal as anybody else.
Well,
right?
yeah, but I mean,
When his heart would just give out or natural causes. Anyway, that's a discussion for a focal point, maybe.
maybe.
So yeah, I like that one. That was maybe my favorite, but that's just because they introduced
A new
a
character.
totally new character.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it wasn't somebody trying to relive or revitalize an old character or whatever.
In the future,
In-
yeah. No,
yeah.
I gotcha. No, yeah, I completely agree with that. I like his costume. I like.
And he also had conflict. I mean, like he didn't want to do it. He did want. He thought it
Right.
was useless. And
Right. Yeah, and
that was interesting.
yeah, and I wish they made more of that. Marvel, if you're watching,
Yeah.
make more. Mutant 2099 because that one was really good, and do a little more with Daredevil 2099.
Yeah,
I like
well,
that one.
Let's briefly talk about the other. What is there? 3 more, right?
There's Punisher 2099. There's the Inhumans 2099, which is pretty much the Inhumans are immortal, so they just kind of live. And then there was Black Panther 2099, which I also liked.
Right. Yeah, Black Panther is another character that I don't really connect with. It's just
I think it's because you're not black.
well, come on, that's not the only reason I like Black Panther, but I think it's just the whole jungle world. I don't really get into that. I never got into the Lost or whatever
Right.
it's called. Anyway, the other one I liked, I actually kind of liked the Punisher one. Basically, it's a conflict. She's passed down through the family to
Right.
be the Punisher.
Yeah, but what I didn't like about that was how long could that possibly, how many generations could that anger possibly pass down?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's true, but if you're, if you see your parent, you grow up with your parent, and they're completely obsessed with that, and they are, bound and determined to make you the predecessor, or the successor, then I think there's an understandable. I don't know. I believed
guess,
it. I thought it was compelling. I thought it was interesting.
Okay. Yeah. No. I guess I could buy that because pride is a very hefty thing, and vengeance and pride go kind of hand in hand. So.
One who wouldn't want to be a ruthless killer if if they see all this, all this corruption and.
Who wouldn't want to be a ruthless killer?
Exactly.
That's what you said.
Okay.
Who wouldn't want to be a ruthless
who
killer?
wouldn't want to? Who wouldn't want to avenge? To be the one that stands up. I mean, you kind of feel compelled to fill the shoes. I mean, that's kind of where she was coming from. And,
Right.
She was saying,
Oh yeah, maybe we should talk about the characters in this book. Yeah, there's 2 characters. Both of them are the Punisher characters, the mother and the son.
Right, and the mother is the daughter of Frank Castle, and right.
I think the granddaughter.
Granddaughter, really?
Castle.
Okay.
I think so. I'm
Anyway,
not entirely sure, so I don't.
And she finds out she's ill, and so she wants to, prepare her son basically.
Right.
And son not really capable of doing it.
Not really wanting to do it.
Want to it.
Yeah.
And he suffers a little bit because of that. And we won't spoil the ending, but he. It's basically the book all surrounds that. Trying to prepare him for it, and they go and they try to do assassinations, or
Right.
they try to do bombings, and she's trying to show him the ropes, and he just can't be okay with it.
It was kind of like Wanted. The dynamic. Did you read Wanted?
Yeah.
Or I know you saw the movie.
Right.
But yeah, that kind of dynamic where I'm supposed to be a killer. I don't want to be a killer.
Yeah. Who me? I'm just a normal kid. I want to be a normal kid.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to be normal kid. Apparently, you want to kill everything.
That moves. Yes.
That moves. Okay.
Good grief.
As long as you don't move, you're okay.
All right, and then the Inhumans. Remind me of that one a little bit.
I don't want to die.
Remind me of the Inhumans.
I don't want to die. I can't move.
Come on, dude. Seriously. If you do evil, look out. Was the R.J. Catman. I don't know.
Catman.
What would I be? Like Corgi Dude? I don't know. I have 2 corgis, so that's why I said that.
Corgi Dude.
Anyway.
I could imagine that costume. It would look ridiculous.
Big ears. Well, yeah, well, Batman has big ears. Anyway, so remind me of the Inhumans.
Honestly, that was the story that I didn't really care for.
Me either, and that's why I forgot about it.
It was just, we're the Inhumans, we live forever, period.
I can't remember what
there
it was
was
about.
there was a little conflict in there between the Inhumans and, should we save this one person? But it was, you forget it easily, just gone. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that one.
I honestly can't remember it. And then I guess the Black Panther, just really quick, it's basically also a successor,
right?
Like who's going to be the next Black Panther,
right?
And
King of Zamunda.
So if you're into that, it's a decent read. I mean, that along with the animation they released recently, and that.
Oh yeah.
If you're excited about that character, then that comic plugs in, even though it's far in the future. It feels feels more recent. And plugs in. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah. So, as far as must reads, I suppose. If you're gonna look at the Marvel Knights 2099, I would check out the Daredevil one. I like that one. Mutant 2099.
Yeah.
And I guess Punisher because he likes it. I didn't really care for it.
Yeah, well, and Black Panther too. If you're interested in that character and that legacy.
The story wasn't there, but it wasn't that great. I wouldn't.
Okay.
If you're a fan of Black Panthers, or if you're,
No, that's what I was saying. I mean, we definitely both agree. You can skip the Inhumans.
Yeah, skip the Inhumans. Don't worry about that. That's nothing.
But yeah, maybe we can bombard them with emails and get them to do some more books in the series. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it.
All right, that wraps up today. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about Shinobi, the movie. So
Heart Under Blade. Shinobi Heart Under Blade.
Yeah, live action movie.
Live action movie. That's right.
All right. That's it. See ya.
Oh. Yes. Yes, again.
Congratulations.
This is going to be my winning pose right here. Just
Tomorrow it's Shinobi, Heart Under Blade. Actually, I'll start because you did the research. So, wow, that was impressive. All right. And cat. No more. All right. Are you crowding me out? I'm like way jammed over there. So that was interesting, I guess.
I suppose so.
I'm looking at you like adoringly.